So I did a video a while ago about carbon fibre and how I'm not using my carbon fibre bike as much as I used to now, really, you know, and I'm riding the steel and the aluminium. Well, this is the carbon fibre bike I was talking about. It's a Look 566 from 2012, at least the frame's from 2012. It's a bit of a Triggers broom, all Ultegra. Anyway, the reason I'm showing you is because somebody put in the comments of that other video something like, oh, carbon frames have to be replaced every 10 years. And I started looking on the internet then about what it said, if you searched on Google, about the lifespan of carbon frames. And there are loads of people saying that a carbon frame has to be thrown away after 10 years. I just wanted to show you this. I mean, this is a 12-year-old bike now. I've done over 10,000 miles on it. It was the only bike I rode for years and years. As I say, I've moved away from it a bit now, and it might get 1 or 2 outings a year. But it's absolutely the same to ride as it was, you know, on day one. It's there's no degradation, there's no floppiness and flex and these other things you hear about. It's just a really smart bike. I mean, like I say, it's not my cup of tea so much anymore now, because I'm not so obsessed with average speeds and raciness and stuff. But just to say that this thing about carbon frames being replaced after 10 years, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that. Obviously, if they're crash damaged, then that's something entirely different, isn't it? I mean, I've got crash damaged forks here, which I've shown you before. You know, they're susceptible. I mean, that was obviously a crash. That was a crash with a vehicle, actually, with a car. But even then, the steerer didn't fail. That's a carbon steerer. So yeah, it's just to say really that, you know, this whole 10-year lifespan for a carbon frame thing, I don't really know where it comes from. I know people riding the Trek OCLV frames from the 90s, and they're still going strong with thousands of miles on them. Obviously, I've owned this from new for the last 12 years, so I know its history. I know it hasn't had any serious crashes or anything, and that's your risk really with buying second-hand carbon. But yeah, the myth that something happens to carbon frames after 10 years and they need to go in the bin is it's not true, and that's coming from me, you know, as somebody that's not really riding carbon bikes much anymore. But I was just shocked when I Google searched it to see that that's the kind of thing that's being said on the internet.